Yeah, welcome to the Dojo, baby, man. Have no fear. TyKwonDoe is here, you dig? Overthinking is underperforming. It is scientifically proven that the harder you try, the worse you do. And I'm going to bring this research to y'all. I'm going to bring an interesting conversation to y'all that I believe will change your life. If you are a type of person who feels like you keep trying, no matter how hard you try to break a habit or change a habit, it doesn't change. No matter how much you prepare, when the moment comes and it's time to perform under pressure, you choke. Pause, no diddy. You choke, you sell, you know, it just doesn't show up. There's no match in your performance. It always feels like you get to that moment and it just isn't there. Well, I have some research to back this conversation up, and I want to bring it to y'all as these videos have been doing a lot better and performing better. Shout out to my man Leak, who's been killing it on the editing side. Shout out my thumbnail guy, Riot PSD. Y'all can't have him. He's locked in with me. You know what I'm saying? Back up. You know what I mean? But let's get into today's topic. I feel like what makes this most helpful is there's so many people I talk to either on Patreon or I read the comments and just in my experience in life, in my own issues with procrastination, overthinking, you know, feeling stuck, feeling like I'm in a loop and just, you know, trying to improve at something or perfect something and just being in my own way, the you versus you mentality. And there's this conversation I want to start about the ego mind versus what I'm going to call the spirit mind or the mind's eye in a sense. And it'll make sense why I call it that. I'm going to use this story of my own personal life to where this to me was probably one of the highest moments of anxiety in my life. I'm talking about like I was probably this close to a fucking anxiety attack, to like just losing my mind, just being in my own head. And I'm gonna give this example to show you the difference between the ego mind and the spirit mind and how powerful it is to when you can shift your perspective on it and be more in alignment with your spirit mind rather than your ego mind, and what you can do to do that and what difference does it make. I remember I had a speech, right, that a lady at my university introduced me to or you know, recommended me for the opportunity. And this was probably my first out of the classroom official public speech. Like, this was serious. This was like way out of my pay grade, way out of my league at the time, or for what I thought was my league or my sense of self at the time, right? I didn't know what I was walking myself into. And to take it even a step further, with this same exact speech, right, I was the only student and the youngest speaker on the stage. The other speakers were, one was the president of my university. Two other speakers were in Congress. They were senators. One was like the president of the SGA, you know, Student Government Association, or something like that on campus, you know. So everybody there was older than me, more experienced, and probably just as nervous, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because there was news channels there. This was written in an article, the Philadelphia Inquirer. It was like a big deal, right? And example of the ego mind is the narrative of good and bad. Do this is good. The ego mind is very critical. It's very wordy. It's telling you what's right and what's wrong. It's telling you what to remember and constantly just talking and talking and talking. You know that feeling of anxiety. You know that feeling of nervousness where it's just, your head is just clouded. What's good, YouTube? We got a banger for y'all today, man. I had to interrupt this video real quick to bless y'all with an opportunity of a lifetime. Manscaped is showing me love again. Yes, I cut my hair, but I got something that cuts even better. The Beard Hedger. They got 2 brand new banger products, and they blessing the dojo with a 20% off discount, an exclusive deal, exclusive package. First come, first serve, man. Go and get it. This Beard Hedger is for those beard guys, man. You end up looking like a wolf or a caveman after you wait too long to get your shape up. But guess what? This is a pocket barber. My favorite thing about this product, not only do it last 60 minutes, so that's if you left it running and forgot it was there, but you might not even have to charge it that much. You know what I'm saying? It's always charged, it's always fresh. But on top of that, 20 different length settings, that's right. So if you're looking for the stubby look, you know what I'm saying, the 5 o'clock shadow, you want to keep your beard thick and smooth, no diddy. You got options with this product, man. This is one of my favorites right here. They dropped in a while, man. I love it. I appreciate you, Manscaped, for this one. I got another one for y'all too, though. Listen, for the guys like myself, if you prefer a cleaner look, a smoother face, you gotta have a compact, handy man shaver, brother. This is one of my favorites right here because for me personally, I like to get real low, keep my goatee sharp and fresh. You know, I ain't always trying to go to the barbershop every week, every 2 weeks. But man, my shit grow too fast, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So having Manscaped's products is a lifesaver and a game changer, bro. Go get your products for the 20% off discount. And on top of that too, if you're in a rush, you're trying to do this shit in the shower, they're waterproof. That's right, waterproof. I'm gonna give a little disclaimer right here on what waterproof means, but tap in, man. Don't be lost in the sauce. Manscaped for the win. The spirit mind works through imagery. The example I let her give is, let's say I put on the screen a picture of a little baby, or somebody else famous, like Kevin Hart or something like that. You could see the picture of these people's faces and come up with 20 words faster than I could say it out my mouth, or faster than I could think it in my head. Now, listen, I don't study Little Baby. I don't think about Little Baby every day all the time. But for some reason, just by seeing the picture of his face, a bunch of words may come to my head. I may think of Atlanta. I may think of a rapper. I may think of dreads. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, baby on baby on baby. Like, I might think of all this shit. But where is that information stored? It's stored in the same places that inner confidence. The shit we unlock when we learn to trust ourselves, when we step into our spirit mind. That's very image-based. That works through pictures, that works through, like we say. I'll give you another example. This Floyd Mayweather clip I want to point out.
You sit, you listen, you learn. There's only 3 ways you can learn: hearing, seeing, and doing. That's what makes me so deadly in boxing. I can learn all 3 ways. I can watch, I can learn. I can hear it, I can learn. And if you show me it, if you show me a hands-on, I can learn. So I'm deadly in all 3 ways.
Notice how he said, I learned from watching, listening, and doing. The watching and the doing part is tapping into the spirit mind. It is not of the spirit to practice and prepare for something and then overthink it. It is of the spirit to practice and prepare through action, right? And imagining and visualizing how we want something to play out. And then when that moment comes, to tell ourselves to trust ourselves, to relax into our body. Because like I said earlier, overthinking is underperforming. The harder you try, the worse you do. The reason being, when we try hard, when we go for this extra effort, when we overthink, it tenses up our body. Remember that sensation of anxiety? There's a physical tenseness we get with that. Our heart rate speeds up. Our mind is all over the place. So as this physical sensation is being triggered, our bodies get more tense. And the more tense we are, the more stiff we are, the slower we are. When we are in a place of relaxation, in control, and we are calm, when our breathing is deep and of the diaphragm, in the lower parts of our lungs, this is when we are in a place of at our best, our highest performance, our quickest, our sharpest. Because just like with the picture of little baby, there's information you have stored, there's experiences you have stored that you cannot think faster than. It's already there. And in the book, The Inner Game of Tennis, is separated this in the form of self one versus self two. Self one is that judgmental, that critical, that thinking, that wordy brain, that wordy version of ourselves. And self two is the natural learner. It's the intuition, it's the instinct. And if you watch my last video, right, where I talked about the idea of an intuitive thought, a thought that comes from all our gathered knowledge, our deep foundation of ourselves, versus an intrusive thought, and a thought that comes from insecurity, a thought that comes from fear, a thought that comes from doubt, overthinking, and uncertainty. The difference between those two thoughts also go within this inner confidence I'm talking about, this spirit mind. This is why I love what books I'm reading are aligned. And I can link these books below. I can put them in the comments and I can pin it for y'all. I want to point this out though. If you're listening to my explanation, everything I'm saying is making sense, and you're following me so far, the next part I want to move into is how we get into this spirit mind. How we move our ego mind away from what it's bad at, really talented at, but bad at. It doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. And move into our body, back into our bodies, move into the present, and tap into that instinct and potential that we have. Naturally, that's already there. Remember, overthinking is underperforming. There's a direct connection between trying harder and performing worse. So what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to navigate? Point out this. First of all, you draw the line in the sand that there's no in between of being in control and no in between of being out of control. You're either in control or you're out of control. Now, it doesn't mean of all the conditions around you. It doesn't mean of I'm gonna control what this person is gonna do and that person is gonna do, and I can foresee every event. I got a crystal ball. I'm just gonna predict how it goes perfectly. It doesn't mean that. What it simply means is, as you go about your choices and as you go about what you focus on consciously, and what you pay attention to and you remind yourself of, are you in control of that? There's a couple words that and phrases that help me and remind me of this. One phrase being, I got it. Try to overthink and say those 3 words. Try to overthink, try hard, work hard, and panic while repeating to yourself with a deep breath, I got it. The two don't exist. The belief in the core and the power of the word choice, and I got it, is completely different from an overthinking mood, the power and the energy behind overthinking and insecurity and doubt and anxiety. The energies are totally separate. Other than I got it is things like you got it. You can even separate the entity in your head of yourself and just remind yourself that you are the observer. You are the awareness, not the human being itself, but the experiencer. You remind yourself of these things. I got it. You got it. And then another 2 words I love. So what? Oh, damn, what if this fuck up and then that happens to my career and so what? Try to panic and say so what and I got it with deep breaths and just sitting on and focusing on the expression of those words and the truth that lies in those words. Cause so what? If it kills you, let that be, if that's literally the worst case of your scenario, like you literally die, like that's your so what? Then holy shit, I don't know who you need to talk to, what kind of situation you're in, you know what I'm saying? I love you. I hope the best for you. But no, I just to the left though. Like, at least you have yourself. At least you're standing firm on the sincerity of reminding yourself that you are in your body. You are there for yourself. You will be there. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. You have to remind yourself of these things by not overthinking though. It has to be simple. Remember, the spirit mind is simple. It works in images. Before we knew how to speak a language, we knew how to our eyes came before our language. What we can see, what we can learn. We are very, very herd-like creatures. When we watch somebody do things, a lot of times when somebody has a talent or a skill, they sometimes say, I don't know how to explain it. I can't put it in words, because they literally can't. The best thing they can do is do it, because experience is the best teacher. That will be my last and third and final point. If number 1 is separating the ego mind versus the spirit mind, number 2 being the words you want to remind yourself of and the focus point you want to put it on, and reminding yourself to go into your trust of yourself, being as number 2, my third one will finally be experience is the best teacher. This is something I constantly remind myself of now that I became aware of how natural and instinctual our bodies are. Of how when we watch somebody do something, when we watch somebody say something over and over and over, we pick it up without even knowing it. It might even pop up in our dreams. This whole idea of like you watch a scary movie and then you have a nightmare. You're not trying to remember that. You're not trying to take that into your sleep or with you the next day. It follows you, comes with you. And that's just an example of a reminder. I'll give you an example that was used in Atomic Habits. And I love this example because it shows that experience is the best teacher. And what difference does it make? You had 2 groups of 2 classrooms over a course of a semester, which is like maybe 3 or 4 months. So both of these classes, right? Both of these students, these groups of students had 2 different teaching styles. One group of students had a project every week. Every week they had an art project or a photography project, I believe. They had to like take a picture and edit it or some type of creative work, right? The second group of students had one project for the entire 3 months. One project that they had to do from beginning to end. One. So by the end of the 3 months, they just had to turn that one project in. Now, on the surface, most people would think that the group who had 3 months to do it would have turned out with the better work. You had 3 months to perfect it. You had 3 months to review it, analyze it, get it done. You had 3 months to perfect what you had to work on. But at the end of it, the group that did better was the group that had a project every week. Because every week they got to work on their flaws. Every week they got to figure something out, learn something new. You know, the artist who has 200 songs is most likely better than the artist who has 2. Because of the experience of creating, the experience of writing, the experience of figuring things out and adapting over time is something we can't even understand about ourselves. We learn things and know things all the time. We learn behaviors, information, and all types of information that we pick up without even trying. That is the instinct of our natural learning. That is the version of us that is within self too. The spirit, mind, the body. I mean, yeah, the mind of the body, or I like to call it different names, like the mind's eye. It works like the mind's eye to me, because to me it's very spiritual. It doesn't work off words. It's very visual. It's very, I see it this way, and I'm trusting into that image and letting things happen. The ego mind tries to make things happen. It tries to force things. It works based on feeling like being in control by constantly analyzing, reflecting, and nitpicking and such things. It's the example of self one versus self two is almost like a parenting style. The parent who sits back and lets their child fall and hurt their knee is going to be, that child is going to be 10 times better off, because that child will learn way better. And another example I love with this is, I always say, you could tell a child a million things, right? Like, that stove is hot, don't touch it. But that child, next thing you know, you walk away, that child, all you're going to hear is, ah, because they just touched the fucking stove. Because that's the courage to perform, the courage to learn that we have naturally in us as a baby. And it's like beaten out of us to experiment. It's beaten out of us to experience, to learn through experience, because we know naturally as we are born, experience is the best teacher. And even if we can take someone else's words and advice, we truly believe something after we test it out, after we experience it. So that's the message I wanted to leave with this video. And you know, it changed a lot about me. I'm gonna give you like a couple practical examples. Now, at anything I do, it could be going to the gym, it could be playing a game, it could be editing, it could be creating. Repetition, I look more towards experience and repetition more than anything. I don't look towards, I'm gonna figure out that perfect thumbnail, I'm gonna figure out that perfect title, I'm gonna figure out that perfect video or whatever. This video, I even had to tell myself, just press record and let it come out. Let the explanation come out. Let it go. I got it. You practice it in anything you do. There's that urgency and that trust of do it now and I got it. There's so many things we know instinctually. I'll leave it with this, because I was on a call with a guy on Patreon, and I also noticed the spirit mind when I said, listen, realize how much you know without even trying. Because, you know, most of the time I'll be coaching guys on dating advice and stuff. So I'm like, you could see a woman and know you automatically are attracted to her or want to speak to her without even saying it out loud. You look and see and you know, right? Then you second guess. Then you doubt. Then you overthink. These are secondary things. They are not instinct. They are not the first thought. Our first thought is not, we can't get her, she's out of our league. That comes up after we see her and realize that we want to talk to her and like her, and then we talk ourselves out of it. Had we acted on our instinct, we might have got her. Shit, you already don't have her. She already not in your life. You can always. I saw a clip, it's the boy Michi, YouTuber. They be hanging with Primetime and stuff. He said, you already don't got her. You can go back to that.
Listen, you miss 100% of shots you don't take. Listen, you already don't got her.
Right.
You already didn't hit.
Right.
You already don't got her number.
Fact.
So,
you can go back to that.
So she say no, who gives a fuck?
Okay,
just do it.
We can lean more into our trust and that inner confidence that we have when we don't overthink, and we trust our performance. We trust our ability to learn from experience. We trust ourselves too. We trust our natural instincts. Begs the question, I'm gonna leave out this video, why do we overthink? Why do we have these big ass heads and these big ass brains if they work against us in so many ways? I don't know, maybe a topic for another video. I love y'all. Dojo to the moon to Saturn, and we leave in the solar system. The LIMPS don't even know we exist. You did.